At my baby shower, Mill got really upset and said mean things to me. She even tried to choose a name for my baby, but things got out of control, and she got arrested because she caused a big scene. I'm a 29-year-old woman married to my amazing husband Gary. We're expecting our first baby, which has been an incredibly exciting journey. Gary and I have been together for a long time and got married 4 years ago. We've been trying to have a baby since last year, and we were thrilled when we found out about my pregnancy 6 months ago. We've faced life's challenges and joys together, and the news of our little one has brought even more happiness into our lives. Each day brings us closer to meeting our baby, and we're so excited. Being pregnant has been a mix of emotions, from the excitement of finding out to those special moments when you feel the baby moving inside you. Gary has been my support through it all. He's been there for every doctor's appointment, we've read parenting books together, and he's helping create a lovely nursery for our baby to be. Now we're fully focused on preparing for the baby. We're discussing names, decorating the nursery, and making plans for the future. Gary is incredibly excited about becoming a dad, which makes me really happy. He's fully involved, helping out with everything for the baby. We're tackling the challenges and joys of pregnancy together, cherishing each moment as we get ready to welcome our little one. 2 months ago, we felt it was time to share our exciting news with our family. We waited until after the first trimester, making sure everything was going well before sharing the joy with our loved ones. We invited our parents, close family, and friends for lunch. When they saw my growing belly, their faces lit up with joy and amazement, making the day even more special. When my mother saw my growing belly, she was so happy and confirmed that I was really pregnant. She understood why we waited to tell everyone and was thrilled to become a grandmother soon. She completely got why we kept it a secret and was excited about the new baby. But Gary's mom, Barbara, reacted differently. Instead of being happy, she got mad that we hadn't told her earlier. She felt left out and blamed me for not including her. Even after I explained why we waited, she stayed angry and didn't want to talk to me. Her anger made the happy family time feel sad. All evening, Barbara ignored me, which wasn't just disrespectful to me but also to my mom, who had always been kind to her before. Barbara remained silent during our conversations, glued to her phone while everyone else talked and enjoyed the family time. It was obvious she was upset, and her unhappiness was hard to miss. She openly told everyone that she had no clue I was pregnant, feeling like she missed out on bonding time with a grandchild who wasn't even born yet. My husband and one of his brothers noticed how upset she was. As things got more tense, I felt overwhelmed and needed a break. I stepped away for a bit to calm down, and my mom came to support me until I felt ready to go back. By the end of the night, Barbara made a point of saying goodbye to me last, probably noticing the disapproving looks from my husband, sister, and parents throughout the day. She barely said more than a quick hi and bye to me, showing her disapproval without much interaction. Later, as my husband walked them to the car, they got into a heated argument that I could hear clearly from the foyer. Barbara used this moment to vent her frustrations about me, making the situation even more tense. Thankfully, all our other guests had left, leaving just me, my parents, Gary, and his parents. Barbara angrily expressed how upset she was that I hadn't told her about the pregnancy earlier and felt like I didn't value family. My husband calmly explained that we waited to share the news until we were sure everything was okay, but Barbara started yelling. "Barbara, this is our grandchild we're talking about. I should have known from the start." Gary: "Mom, it's not about deserving or not. It was a decision we made together because we wanted to be cautious." Barbara: "Being cautious? I'm her mother-in-law. She should have trusted me with this. It's all her fault." At this point, my husband couldn't hold back anymore. He had been calm until then, but hearing his mother blame me made him visibly angry. He told her firmly that it was a joint decision not to tell her earlier, so if she was blaming anyone, it should be him too. He urged her to stop overreacting and move past it. Barbara insisted that he was letting me control everything and that, as his mother, she should have been the first to know about her grandchild. My husband stood his ground, asking her to stop attacking me and suggesting she leave to cool off before saying something she might regret. Barbara stormed off, leaving my husband visibly frustrated and disappointed with her reaction. I was unaware of the tears running down my face, feeling hurt and confused by her sharp words. Gary quickly comforted me and guided me back inside, where my parents stayed to support us until I felt better. Later that night, I received a message from Barbara, and my anxiety spiked. Her message said, "I'm deeply disappointed in you. You deliberately kept important information from me, and I can't forgive that. It hurts that you didn't let me share in the joy of knowing about my grandchild from the start. This isn't how a family should work, and it's disrespectful and hurtful." Her message really stung, accusing me and creating a divide between her and Gary. I felt a mix of anger and hurt. When I showed Gary the message, he was furious. He couldn't understand why his mother was blaming me like this. Gary decided to call her and tell her not to send such hurtful messages, warning that it was upsetting me. He even said he might cut her off if this behavior continued. His serious tone seemed to make her reconsider. Instead of admitting her part in the problem, she suggested a solution. She said she would forgive us if we let her throw us a baby shower. This sudden change surprised us and made us wonder about her true intentions. Barbara kept insisting that nothing would make her happier than organizing a big celebration for me and the baby, taking care of everything. Gary seemed curious about her sudden change, but I remained doubtful about her motives. To me, it felt like Barbara was trying to use the baby shower as a way to regain control rather than genuinely wanting to make things right. Despite my doubts, Gary, always wanting to keep the peace, considered accepting her offer. I shared my concerns with Gary, worried that agreeing might make Barbara think her behavior was okay. Gary understood but hoped that letting his mom plan the baby shower could help mend things and make our family environment better before the baby arrived. He reluctantly agreed, and Gary told his mother to start planning the baby shower. She was thrilled and thanked us for letting her take the lead. I had hoped for some collaboration where she would ask for my input and consider my preferences for the baby shower. As the event was still a month away, I expected more detailed planning to happen in the coming week. However, to my disappointment, it turned out my mother-in-law had taken over the baby shower planning completely. She bought all the decorations, picked the games, and organized activities without asking anyone, including me. When my mom tried to talk to her about it, she just said everything was set, and it would be a surprise for me. This lack of communication and consideration left me feeling disappointed and frustrated because the event was supposed to be a celebration that reflected my preferences and wishes. On the day of the baby shower, there was a mix of excitement and tension. I arrived at the venue, a local banquet hall, surrounded by my friends who were excited to celebrate our upcoming baby. But as I walked in, I couldn't ignore the overwhelming decorations my mother-in-law had chosen. The place was covered in brown and beige balloons, giving it a safari theme that I absolutely hated. It felt like a poorly executed idea. The decorations at the baby shower didn't match what I had in mind at all. I was thinking of gentle colors and delicate decorations, but my mother-in-law chose brown and beige, which clashed with the happy atmosphere I wanted. Things got more awkward when I saw a big banner near the entrance. It had a lot of baby pictures of my husband with his mom, Barbara. Everyone seemed confused because it was my baby shower, so why show his baby pictures? When I asked her about it, she just laughed and said she thought our baby would look just like my husband, and she was proud of how cute he was as a baby. It felt like she was making the day more about herself and my husband than about our new baby. As more guests arrived, they looked confused or uncomfortable. The ring was filled with brown and beige balloons, and there was a big banner showing my mother-in-law and husband's baby pictures. It was nothing like the elegant and happy atmosphere I wanted for my baby shower. Some of my friends also seemed to feel sorry for me. When my mom came in, she was shocked by what she saw. She couldn't believe the mess my mother-in-law had made of the decorations. Her eyes went straight to the banner, and I could tell she was surprised and upset that the focus seemed to be on my husband's childhood instead of celebrating our baby. My mom did something bold. She walked up to the banner, her face determined. Without saying a word, she took the banner down and carried it away. The room got quiet, and everyone looked at my mom, impressed by her action to remove what was taking away from the celebration. I felt really thankful for her support. My mother-in-law, who was busy chatting with other guests, looked shocked when she saw my mom getting rid of the banner. She asked, sounding disapproving, "Why did you do that?" The banner was meant to celebrate the baby and our family. But my mom, not bothered by the disapproval, calmly said, "This celebration is about my daughter and her baby, not about showing off your achievements." The guests around them were curious about this unexpected argument. My mother-in-law, sensing the attention, tried to explain herself. "I wanted everyone to see how cute Gary was as a child since I organized this event," she said, trying to cover up her annoyance. But my mom wasn't backing down. She pointed out, "Barbara, you practically begged my daughter to let you plan this baby shower after what happened last time. This is about celebrating my daughter and her baby, not about your personal agenda or trying to steal the show." The room got quiet as they talked, and guests looked uncomfortable. My mother-in-law, realizing her attempt to control the situation had failed, retreated with a forced smile and returned to her conversations with other guests. The baby shower continued, and I tried my best to focus on the positive energy from my friends and family, despite the lingering tension. I hoped there would be no more surprises from my mother-in-law, who seemed to be drinking a bit too much for a baby shower. We played various party games, and the guests slowly started to enjoy themselves. When it was time for the gift opening session, I was delighted by everyone's thoughtful presents for my baby. However, my happiness turned to confusion when my mother-in-law handed me a large gift box, smiling exaggeratedly. The room fell silent, and I felt a mix of embarrassment and frustration. My mother glared at her angrily, and the guests exchanged awkward glances, unsure how to react to this unexpected turn of events. Trying to ease the tension, I forced a weak smile and thanked her for the gift, suppressing the urge to roll my eyes. Things got worse during the cake-cutting ceremony. My mother-in-law had ordered an extravagant tiered cake with over-the-top decorations. She made a big show of it, clinking her glass to get everyone's attention. I was getting pretty annoyed, wondering what she was up to now. We all looked at her curiously and waited for her to speak. Barbara then announced that she had come up with the perfect name for our baby girl. I froze when I heard her words. We hadn't even settled on a name ourselves. She proudly declared that the baby would be named after her great-grandmother, a name that sounded straight out of a Victorian novel. I was shocked and a little irritated that she assumed she had the right to name our baby. I stepped in, politely explaining that my husband and I wanted to pick our baby's name together. It was a choice we wanted to make as parents. However, my mother-in-law wasn't having any of it. She insisted that she had the perfect name, and if I were a good daughter-in-law, I should accept it since she had spent so much money on the baby shower. I was shocked at her sense of entitlement. I firmly stated that only my husband and I had the right to name our baby, and regardless of who hosted the baby shower, this decision was ours alone. That's when my mother-in-law started yelling at me in front of everyone, claiming I was extremely disrespectful and should be grateful for all she'd done. She criticized my upbringing, insisting I should be thanking her instead of denying her the right to name the baby. Barbara became more aggressive, pointing her fingers in my face. My mother stepped in, standing in front of me to protect me. Barbara continued to shout, claiming she was the real parent of my baby because she gave birth to my husband, and it was his sperm that impregnated me. Her words were awful to hear. Despite my mom's efforts to calm her down, Barbara got even angrier. She insulted me and said my mom did a terrible job raising me. It was clear she had too much to drink, and trying to reason with her was pointless. The situation was getting worse, making everyone uncomfortable. Slowly realizing the escalating situation, I decided I had endured enough humiliation. Trying to salvage some dignity, I gathered the gifts my friends had generously brought and decided to leave, leaving behind the present from my NIL. However, Barbara, in her intoxicated state, snatched the gifts from my hands and threw them to the ground, accusing me of being ungrateful and a witch who was coming between her and her son. The tense atmosphere drew more attention, and I noticed some people starting to film the incident. To contain the chaos, I asked one of my close friends to politely request people to leave the event. Barbara, undeterred, continued hurling nasty accusations at me, creating a scene that no one could have anticipated for what was supposed to be a joyous occasion. Frustration turned to anger, and as a last resort, I decided to call the cops to remove my NIL from my baby shower because her aggressive behavior was making me feel extremely unsafe. When the officer showed up, Barbara went into full drama mode, pointing fingers at me and trying to paint me as the cause of the chaos. The cops, thankfully, were understanding and tried to reason with her. However, since she was drunk, she resisted their efforts and even started yelling at the police, which didn't help her case. The situation escalated, and she was arrested on the spot. I left the event with my mother and close friends, all of us shaken by the unsettling incident. Since then, my husband and I have been dealing with the fallout. Barbara is now on a full-blown guilt trip, playing the victim and garnering sympathy from some family members who weren't at the baby shower because they live in another city. My husband, although he understands why I called the cops, thinks I took it a bit too far. He believes that I could have called him or his father for help. So Reddit, am I the a-hole for calling the cops on my NIL for ruining my baby shower and pretending to be the actual mommy of the baby? Update 1. I am overwhelmed with the response I have received since deciding to post about my baby shower. I would like to thank everyone for supporting my decision to call the cops. I had never witnessed such an aggressive reaction from my NIL before, given that I usually only saw her during holidays when I never spent a lot of time with her. The level of aggression she displayed at the baby shower left me genuinely concerned about the possibility of physical harm, especially considering the potential impact on my unborn child. Since the incident, every guest who attended the baby shower has reached out to express their support. Some of them have even shared recordings of the entire debacle, which I intend to show to my husband. My plan is to have a serious conversation with my husband this coming weekend about our future with his mother. Update 2. I showed the recording to my husband. As mentioned earlier, my husband and I sat down for a serious conversation about the events that had transpired. I explained to him in detail how his mother's behavior had escalated throughout the entire ordeal, from the hidden pregnancy revelation to the outrageous baby shower. I described the yelling, accusations, and bizarre gifts she presented. I then shared the recordings with him, and my husband watched, visibly horrified. Watching the video seemed to bring a reality check for him, making him confront the uncomfortable truth about his mother's actions. He started to apologize to me sincerely for underestimating the severity of the situation and acknowledging that I was right in calling the cops. I had no idea it got this bad. I'm so sorry you had to go through all that, he expressed, his face reflecting both regret and frustration. He admitted that he had never imagined his mother could be this toxic, as this seemed so out of character for her. He reassured me that he was on my side and emphasized that my safety and well-being, especially during pregnancy, were his top priorities. We talked about the real issues, like how his mom always wants control and approval, which ruined what should have been a happy time. Gary, starting to see his mom's actions clearly, also worried about her behavior and agreed that it was too much. I told him that after what happened at the baby shower, I wanted nothing to do with her. I said he could still see her if he wanted, but I and our child wouldn't be around until she got help for her anger issues. Gary was shocked and agreed that what his mom did was awful. He said he cut ties with her too because she disrespected me and didn't deserve to be in our lives anymore. Gary recognized that his mom's actions weren't just about the baby shower but probably built up from past issues. Looking forward, Gary promised to talk to his mom himself and explain that cutting ties is his decision. I also asked him to tell her that if she shows up uninvited to pressure me into letting her back in, I'll have to involve the police again. Update 3. It's been a month since my last update. Me and the baby are doing well, and I'm eagerly awaiting their arrival. Since then, we've stopped talking to Barbara completely. Gary spoke with his parents, and his dad assured him that they'll make sure Barbara understands and respects our boundaries. After cutting ties with Barbara, our lives have been much calmer. We don't have to deal with her drama and negativity anymore, which has brought a sense of peace to our home. Gary and I can now focus on getting ready for the baby without any distractions from Barbara. The support we got from friends and family meant a lot during this tough time. My parents and close friends were a huge source of strength, always there to encourage and understand us. Even family members who didn't know what happened before saw the videos and showed their support. Our journey isn't finished, but this experience brought us closer and showed us the importance of facing problems together. Cutting ties with Barbara wasn't easy, but it was needed for our happiness. Even though we might still face challenges, we're hopeful about the positive changes it brought. As we wait for our baby, we're focused on creating a loving and supportive family that puts everyone's well-being first.